jumps on. I'm going to talk today a little bit about how I use my it's called Trello, and it's just like Asana or anything else. The only thing I like about it's free, and I like to use it but it's more about how I use it is really what we're going to talk about. You know, how I'm using it to keep everything organized. I have a very specific way that I get stuff out of my head, because when I don't either, and you can use paper to do this, by the way, it totally would work with just using a notebook. But I use this because it's free, it's cheap, doesn't cost me anything. I can invite other people to it so they can see it. So as you can see, I've got all these other people in here. I can actually just tag them. Some of these duties, all these duties, some of them are other people. But the key to what I'm doing is I'm taking this, I put everything in these little categories, right? And this brain dump category is pretty big for me. What's up, Ryan? Hey, man, welcome. So, I have this brain dump category, and it's the first thing that I focus on. By the way, Brian, we're using Trello here, which is like, I think Asana does all the same stuff. Whatever you want to use. I mean, certainly you can use a notebook for all I care. It's really more about the process, because when you have a lot of thoughts going on in your head, you got a lot of different things you need to do. I like to put everything in the brain dump. So if I think of anything I need to do, anything I'd even dream about doing in the next month, 2 months, week, whatever, it goes onto the brain dump. Now, what I used to do that didn't work for me very well is when I would think of something, I'd be like, oh, let me schedule it. The problem with scheduling is it takes a lot of thought of like, can I do it? Will I do it? Is it important? It's just too much on the spot, right? On the spot, you got an idea. You want to be able to get that idea out of your head quickly. So this can actually go on your phone. This Trello can go on your phone, and or whatever you decide to use. You can just jump on your phone, throw it in, create a new card. So you can see, like, if I'm like, hey, teach class, how to use Trello. Just add the card. I mean, done, right? Oops. Yeah, I guess it added in there. So the key, though, is once I've put it into this brain dump, I'm just putting anything in. I'm not getting crazy about what it is. I mean, if it's something I've thought about, I'm going to put it in here, because, see, the brain dump is the lowest level of entry for me. Again, anything I've thought of, anything I've considered, no matter if it's valuable or not, I just want it out of my head, because when all this stuff's floating in my head, I can't sleep. So I notice, like, I don't sleep well when I got too much stuff swirling around in there. So if I get it onto a list, it makes me feel better. Now, the next step of it, though, is that things go into this brain dump. Some of these things are like pretty awesome. Like, finish the book. I've been talking about finishing the book for like 9 months. The book's pretty much done. I just need to go get some stuff done with it, but it's not really important right now, right? I've got plenty of stuff going on. I don't need any new stuff right this second. So, it's not a high priority, but I wanted to get it out of my head, because it kept, every once in a while, I kept saying, damn, I really need to finish that book. So I put it into the brain dump. If I determine that it's not too important, I'm going to leave it in the brain dump. Okay, I'm going to leave anything in there, because if the next step for me every day in the morning is to take and go through my brain dump and figure out what in there is super important, what in there is going to move my business forward. And obviously, I can't do everything on there, because it'd be quite a bit to do. Some of these projects are quite big. Like the book thing would probably take a week or two. With some help. It wouldn't even be just, me, it'd be a lot of energy. So I leave things in there that I don't really need to do right now, that aren't high priority. And then if I need something that needs to be done, so like complete all design, I can move it over into my to-do list, meaning that, okay, 100% I've decided that's not just something that I want to think about. It's something I'm 100% going to do. Now, once I look at this and say, you know what, I've put a date together, like, you know what, I'm going to do it on Friday because I got some time, then I would move it over into priority, which is in the next 7 days. So for me, I don't put anything in priority unless it's within the next 7 days. So if I'm not going to do it before that, then I'll just leave it in the to-do, maybe even in the brain dump if I'm not sure if I'm even going to do it. Now, once I come through here, so once I've done all this and I've looked at seeing what's going to go to the do, I'm going to look to see what to do, go to the priority, and then I'm going to go through my priorities and figure out today, like, of everything I'm doing, what's time sensitive, what I have to do, what I don't have to do, and I'm just moving it over. So I basically go brain dump, to do, priority, today, and then this one right here is waiting. So like you can see this one, I wrote the copy for a webinar today and I sent it over to my writer just to do, verify and look and see if I can do anything better. So she's verifying it now. So waiting means I've done my part of it, and it's now going to another team member, and I'm waiting for that team member to give it back to me. Now, once it comes back to me, it's done, then it's going to go over in that done category. What I like about the done category is you can actually archive things. You can just leave a bunch of stuff in there. If you archive stuff, it's easy for you to always go back and see what you've done, how you used your time, what projects you've completed. So these for me personally, now this could be used for project management. This could be used very easily for houses and stuff because all you have to do is you can actually create. So you can see I have a card. One second, I'm moving on stuff. I have this card. This is a whole one card, by the way. So it says to do items. This whole thing is to do items. And whole little screen you see, and they call it like one big kind of a workspace. Now that you could have a workspace for each property if you'd like. You get 123 Main Street workspace, and then within that workspace, you could literally just be like, okay, here, brain dump. Here's all the things I want to do with the project, and you can start just moving them down the line in the project, assigning them like, hey, Darshan's going to do this thing. Like Darshan's putting the money out for the project. He's going to be security for the project, so nobody breaks in. He's going to make sure we get a fence put around the house so they don't try to like climb in the window and steal the copper. Gerhard's going to make sure we got Wi-Fi and coax is there. Brian's going to come in and do the layout design for us, and I can just assign that to everyone. What's pretty cool is when you click on any of these, you can just see, like if we go like right here, click on this. Well, let me show you one actually. It has like a timeline on it with it to do. So this is pretty cool because we come in here, you can see I assigned this to, Delonte and Adams in on this. And it's like set an event for the meetup on, a meetup in on Everbright. It says Everbright, specifically Everbright. And they know what I'm talking about though. And then what you can always do is you can put due dates on it. You can put a checklist. You can see I got a checklist right here. These are all the things I have to do for this webinar. I got to post it on BiggerPockets, 5 emails, Facebook ads. I got to do 5 emails to my list, 2 Facebook Lives, to post on Instagram. So you can see I start putting my checklist, and then when something's done on checklist, you check it off, and it puts a little line for it. And if not, I check it back down. Delonte, Adam, anyone who's doing this stuff could be checking it off as we're doing it. So you can easily see how you could have one property in here, and you can have all your properties in one big card. You can decide how you want to do it. But personally, you could even just you can take it at any level you want. I like this program because, like Asana's super cheap, but this actually is free. And it don't cost anything. I've been using it for quite a while, and I don't know what it's going to take to upgrade or why I would upgrade it. But so far, I haven't seen why I really need to upgrade it. It's doing everything I need to do, and it has a flamingo. I feel like I'm in Florida, which is kind of cool. So, I mean, I think that everyone in the group could figure out a way that you might be able to use this in your business to organize your stuff. And again, don't worry about like Trello, Asana, whatever you choose and you like working on, totally up to you. Just think of the process. Think of like, how like we have to get things out of our head. It's a very important concept. It creates stress. It creates in the back of our mind. It makes us feel, a little bit worried and problems. When we have too much going on, that's where overwhelm starts, is when we just have so many things we know we need to do, but we don't have a clear plan on how we're going to do them. So anybody that has some feedback or like to add to what you're seeing that I'm already doing, but this is my very, I would call this super basic, by the way, but I have to be honest, this took me about 10 minutes to set up, but it's worked like magic since I've been using it. It's just I'm more organized. And I'm really big on not making things complicated, because if I make something really complicated, I don't know why, I just don't use it. But if I have something that's super easy to use and it's really basic, it just, again, it propels me. So I think the implementation of it has to be simple so that people use it. By the way, your team members don't like to use things that are complex either. Team members you'll see that anything you make too complicated, they'll tend to shy away from a little bit. So, I've made some really cool, complicated stuff in the past where I was like, it's so ingenious. It does all these things. And I spent like a month on it. And then I try to get everybody to use it, and it's like pulling teeth. I couldn't get everybody to use it. And my coach told me back then, was like, well, maybe you made it too complicated, right? You got to make it like that McDonald's French fry machine where they hit the red button and they drop the fry in. It's 2 shakes of salt, and it's all, it's all good and super simple, so people don't go crazy and do dumb stuff. Well, pretty much that's what we have to do. And if you really think about it, this isn't the number one way to kind of run your processes, because the belief is, don't worry about how you hire people to do your stuff. It really is about processes. We don't manage people, we manage processes. And if the process will tell you if the people are doing what they're supposed to do. If you have a great process, then naturally you don't really have to worry too much about people, because all you have to worry about is that they bought into your process. If they buy into your process and they follow it, then I've seen some people who were not the smartest person in class, right? And they've done really well in my systems. And I think that is part of being able to run this business, is not having to hire rocket scientists to do everything. You know, we have to be able to hire people who are, you know, just normal salt of the earth people who can follow a simple process we've made very simple. And that's how you get the best results. Yeah, it's how, and honestly, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me too, if I have something simple, it's a little bit easier. I tend to follow it more. I'd love to get some feedback. What do you guys think about what I'm doing? Is there anything you think I could add to it? Anything you would make better if you were using it? Or, you know, what are you guys currently using as like either just something for you to get stuff out of your head and like kind of schedule your day, your workflow?
Yeah, what's nice about this is it's a visual task list thing. So, if you like whiteboarding things, then that works good for you.
Yeah, and I think maybe I'm a visual person. I'm not sure because I do kind of enjoy the visual part of it.
Yeah, I check with my hands.
Yeah, that's the paper then. That's the book then, man. The book works good too. I told you I'm a book guy. I'll tell you, you walk around with a little binder, you're all good.
Yeah,
You
actually,
conquer the world with a binder and a pen.
if you use Zapier, you can push stuff from Podio into this if you wanted to.
Mm,
So,
okay.
let's say you close on a house, right, that you're buying, and there's going to
Mm,
be like these 15 things you need to do, like, turn on the utilities, get insurance,
yeah.
all those things.
Okay.
You can automatically populate it then. So, hey, from this date on, because the date you're going to close on the property, you can
Mm.
predict all those other things and at least populate your task list, you know. And depending on who's
That's
assigned,
awesome, man. That's a
yeah, depending on who, like let's say you might not go to closings, but at least the person going to closings would get that reminder, like, hey, this is the date, and turn on the water and electric and switch the utilities and whatever, order the dumpster. Um, so
yeah, that's actually I could see that being highly useful. So that is a nice build out that I think would be really useful for a lot of things. With that being said, this is what I call the big overview, right? So you start with the easy overview of everything you're doing, what's important to you, and then you can start doing more micro overview. Me and Robert were talking about this today, and I know, I think, yeah, me and Robert were talking about it today. Only person on the call. He's got enough houses going that, we were talking about putting together instead of like a checklist or like a completely mapping out like one individual property. We always start with a what I call like a property flow calendar. So, what property is going when and how, and, where's the money coming from? What date is it going? Because I like to run everything in what I call like a, property one, primary property, we call it. And then we got the secondary property. And then anything over two properties, in my experience, I found that contractors fall apart when you give them three properties. Even my best guys, if I give them three properties and I try to spread them across all three and have them do all three at the same time, then all three of them are taking a really long time, and my money gets tied up for really long periods of time, and I don't have any flow in my business. So my property flow calendar is all about keeping properties flowing, from the renovation to being on the market, so that I can get money back as quick as possible. And I want that happening regularly. So if you're doing 12 rehabs a year, you'd figure out how to manage your flow so that you get one house coming on a month. What often happens when you have no property flow calendar is that you might see a month where, like Robert told me last month, he had four, and I had a month like a couple months ago where I had five. And, so those months are really stressful because it's hard to have any one thing, like five houses in the same spot at any one time, unless you've got a business. Obviously it's still like 150 houses a year, but you're doing 15, 20 houses a year. You don't want roughly a third of your houses settling in one month. It's just a little much. It's going to stress your systems. Also, it's super important when you're thinking about this is that the way I like to do it is I like to take a primary property and make that primary property the main thing we're going to focus on. Have my contractors commit to that property being done as fast as possible. Then there's a secondary property, and that one they might take, like, if they've got 6 guys, they might have 2 on that property, just getting it ready for rough-in, stuff like that, doing some basic stuff. But at any point, we get where we can just go straight forward. That, like, say we're past rough-ins on our first property, and those 2 guys could come back and knock that first property out, then I'm going to advise them to come back and compound all my energy on one property so I can finish it. And then they'll go, and then property 2 sitting and waiting for them and prepped and ready to go. And they go property 2. When property 2 becomes property 1, then we pull 1 house out of inventory. So I always like to have 3 houses per contractor. Is like the contractors that are like a full contractor, not like a one-man show. But if you got a contractor that can actually do a rehab, knock it out, has say 3 to 4 guys minimum, then that contractor could have 3 properties going in order for him to stay consistently busy. I mean, he's doing one. He's, why he's focusing on one, he's prepping another. So when he's done this one, he goes to that one. And then there's always one sitting in inventory for 30 to 60 days that basically is just solving our inventory problem so that we always have a property sitting waiting for us. And this is how you can easily take, like, Robert has 2 contractors and he's able to do 6 houses at a time with this. So if he had actively 6 houses going, he wouldn't be stressed out because he has 2 people. And I'm not sure if his one guy can do 3 yet, but I know he can definitely do 2. So maybe it's 5 for Robert, but he's one other guy's already currently working on 3. So he actually has to scale him back because he has them spread across the 3. And that's definitely going to cause a little bit of a traffic jam. And that's been my experience in the past. I had, like, one time I had 32 going, and I think 21 of those were active. And like, I think every contractor we had, like 7, all had like 3 houses, and every single one of them, and every one of them was taking forever to finish. So, like, no one was getting anything done. And the 7-day flip proved to me that if you put more manpower on any house, you can finish it faster. So if we really think about it, we do have control. It's just about how we move our manpower to each house so that we make sure that the houses are coming out in a consistent fashion. Because, like, last thing I need, like I said, I'm not set up to have 6 houses at one time all need plumbers. 6 houses at one time all need HVAC guys. So whatever's not set up for that. This also helps you because if you do 1 house at a time that you're focusing on this way, I have like 1 plumber. I mean, I think last year we did 41 flips, and I have 1 plumber and HVAC guy. It's the same guy on every house. He did all my plumbing and HVAC for all 41 houses. And you really think about it, even if you just spent a week doing it on each house, he's got only 41 weeks a year. So he almost becomes like a full-time employee. Why I love that is because the more I work him, the less he goes and works for my competitors. The less my competitors come in and pay him more and drive the price up. So I kind of keep him in my inner circle so that way he doesn't, need a bunch of work and he's not out looking for new business. Now, if I was doing it incorrectly and I start 3 at once, then I'm going to feel pressure to go get another HVAC guy. Because now I got 3 houses, 2 are sitting and waiting. So I'm going to feel like, man, I need at least 1 more HVAC guy to get all this stuff done. And now all the work gets split between 2 people. And instead of having him busy 41 weeks a year, I got him busy 20 weeks a year. And, who knows, he might go off now. So people like consistency. Same thing with your contractor. They love if you can sit down with your contractor and show them how you got 3 flips going and waiting. You don't have to have 3 flips, but, say if you got 1, while you're doing that one, you should be looking for another so that when they're done 1, they can go straight to 2. They just want to know they're not going to have any big gaps in their work. So if you sit down with them, tell them, hey, you're like halfway done this one. I got 1 settling in 2 weeks. Let's go look at it. You're just letting them know that it'll be their house. They can work on it. So they know they got work for a while. If you show them that you got a 3rd one that you're putting in inventory, then they're really going to be like, you start building a calendar out with them, start talking like, hey, you're going to be done. This one's going to be June 1st to August 1st. And then, we're going to start on July 1st. We're going to start just getting it ready for rough-ins. So you might send 2 guys over for the month of July, just getting it all ready. By then we're going to finish out property 1. And then we're going to go to property 2 on August 1st fully. And then we're going to pull 1 out of inventory that we had in inventory for a month and a half. And we're going to pull that in now. So we got a secondary property. Now, Robert and everyone would know, whoever's using this system would know, I can go buy 1 more property to put in inventory now that I've pulled inventory out and I don't have any inventory. This is how we get, you use this, I've used this up to like 32 houses at a time. So when you're scheduling like this, you can get a lot more done. It's just having clarity with like who's doing what essentially. And I think the most people I've ever had was 7 full crews working for me. Right now I have 4. And, so that's why I'm able to do so many houses every year because I got 4 good crews working for me who I can manage very easily.
Mike, so how do you keep track of who, I mean, you don't manage it, your project manager does it, right? To keep track of who's
Yeah.
where and where are we on the project? Are we doing plumbing this week, or are you roughing next week, or what's the deal? You know?
I mean, honestly, he's been doing it so long, most of it's in his head. And anytime I try to put together, like I've had Asana and versions of like Asana, every time I try to put something complex together, I end up spending like a bunch of time building it out for him, and then he just doesn't use it. So, what I realize is that that's not who he is and not how he does business. And, I'm not going to mess with him. He wants to use a book, whatever he wants to use. Now, we do have one property sheet that has all our properties on it. And on that property sheet, we'll color it according to what stage it's in. And I'll show you that if you'd like. Let's take a look at that and you can see. Let's take a quick look and I'll show you on my drive, because this is how basic we are right now when it comes to our renovations. And listen, the more basic you can be, the smarter you are. I promise you that, right? I mean, like genius is making stuff simple. So this is all the houses we got going on right now, these. And then we got these two obviously right here. So, and we actually just we're buying three more that should be in here, but aren't in here yet because they're going to settle. So I've got all these plus three more that are getting ready to settle. So like Northern Parkway, we just started that one. What I do is if you read these little remarks, I got not started. Actually, it is started, but it's going to be before rough in. So I just come up here to the color and we'll put that purple on it, which actually looks like I put the wrong. Oh, that's the right purple. Okay. You see that's before. This one hasn't settled. This hasn't settled. This actually just settled, I think. So we're going to put not started on that one. So I just put like, that's how we know what phase they're in. If you come over here, we know what contractor's doing them. Like Hickory is going to be Juan. I can actually get an update the sheet while you guys are here. It's like 2-in-1 work. Or actually, no, Hickory is not Juan. Hickory is Hugo. I'm trying to go off memory. I think this one is Juan. I got Kim and Edward on George. Kim and Edward's going to be on. Oh no, why did they put Kim and Edward on George? Oh, Stewart. Yeah, Kim and Edward on Stewart. That's right. Then we got. Hold on. Alex is going to go here. I'm fixing this now. So he's going to be like, why did you mess my stuff? I'm trying to see. Is that across from Virginia? And then Kim and Alex are going to be on that one. And Kim and Edwin. So, I mean, that's how I'm just assigning all my stuff now. This might get vetoed because Steve knows better, but I'm pretty sure this is all the right people. And you can see Hugo's the only one that has 3 because he has 7 guys. Juan has 1, 2, 3 also, but Parkmont's not settled yet. So Parkmont will be an inventory house. So Juan's on there, but Juan's not touching that actually. So let's take a look then. Hugo is on. Berlin's finishing. So by the way, let's see. So post rough in. Yeah, actually, oh yeah, red. Berlin is actually done. So he's just finished Berlin like today or something. He's finishing it. So you can see he hasn't updated this week, but Berlin's done now. Ardmore's actually was staged, so I think that's done like within a day or two. Bayonne is actually being staged this week, so really all these are done. I mean, within the next 5 days, by the end of this week, all these will be done. So these are all properties that are complete now. So what are we doing as we complete these? We'll now start focusing on all these and a couple extra ones I haven't put in yet too. But they're on this one, and now this is past rough in. So see, I'm going to take this to green now. I'm actually updating this for Steve. Normally he updates it, but this is how he keeps track of everything. It's super simple. I got lock boxes on there. I should have what the ARV and what I paid, but my mom's not been taking care of it. But really, they're using this forever they need it. I don't need it to be perfect. But anytime I go on my phone and I need a lockbox, I can get it. That's one thing that comes up quite often where I don't have the lockbox. But more importantly, this is how I strategize. Like I look at this and say, okay, I don't ever like to have like more than 5 to 7 houses going at a time, like actively, because I noticed my guy kind of gets a little out of hand. I mean, he just starts to be slow. Now I did all 5 of these in about 2 months. So I'm not like, I don't know, if I can knock out 5 of them in 2 months, then I'm all good, right? I don't really need to have a ton of properties. When I see this inventory right now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got another one bought. So I'm at 13 total. If this inventory starts to get around 20, everyone's being too slow. Because I had it like, I don't know, about 9 months ago, I was at 23, 24, 23, 24. And it wasn't like you would think, oh, he's got 24, he was making more money. No, actually, I had I was so big that nothing was getting done. Everything was in a traffic jam. It was like on 695 at rush hours. It was all sitting and looking at each other. My money wasn't coming back, wasn't going out. When I only got like 10 to 13 like this, Steve's almost like just blowing through these, man, just blowing through them. I still get just as many done because instead of him taking like 6 months to do 10, he's doing like 5 in 2 months. He's just doing them faster because he has more focus on each property. So when you see that I'm doing 5 at once, it means that there's 3 contractors that are focusing on like 3 to 4 of the properties, and there's one focusing on 2. So for the most part, like nobody's really focusing on more than 1 or 2 properties max. Ideally, I really want them focusing on 1 property is kind of the key. So that's always going to be how I want it to go. I know where it came from. Hickory's
The ones
PPC.
that you have that's almost closing out now, like some of them you've had them for quite a long time. Is that just because you just pushed them off so you could do others first?
Well, that's if the date's right, because Danville's not mine. So that's that one right there. Berlin is a rental. That's why I had that for a long time. I've owned that since then, but I had it rented. So that's probably why you're seeing that. That's the one that burnt up. You see it says fire.
Oh
I
yeah.
owned it as a rental, and now we're rehabbing it because it caught on fire. So I've owned that. I expected to keep that, but I'm going to actually sell it now and get the money. This one I'm doing with Matt. And Matt, I don't know. Matt jumped off a bridge, so I'm not sure. This one just took forever. Ferndale, this one's settling. This Ferndale is actually settling. This one I bought a couple months ago, so these are all good. This one here is actually settling soon. So yeah, it's about right. Ferndale. Yeah, I inventoried Ferndale for 2 months, by the way. So yeah, and then I started it, knocked it out. It was about a $70,000 renovation. I think 75 is what it says. So yeah, it was a pretty big renovation. But Ferndale is actually supposed to settle 3 weeks ago, and we have that ransomware. So Ferndale's are actually, Ferndale could be settled. I don't think it is though, but it is completely finished and sold. And we were supposed to settle 3 weeks ago. So we're just waiting to clear that one off. And actually that one can really be cleared off because honestly that one, well, I'm going to check and make sure it's settled because I'm not sure. So yeah, these are all just complete. And yeah, so I mean, I think this took long. This is 4 months for Bayonne. And I was pissed about this because we've owned it for 4 months. We started it 30 days later, but we're like roughly about 3 months into the renovation, which is way too long. We just don't go 3 months, you know, that's just a reality. I mean, we shouldn't at least, but this one we inventoried. I bought this one and inventoried. So I think we just started this one like maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, something like that, maybe like 3 weeks ago. So we buy things and inventory them all the time. Like when Glory brung this to me, I was like, I don't need it right now, but I just look at my calendar and see if I got space for it. Now I bought it where, it's only going to cost me about $3,000 to inventory it for like 2 months. So, I mean, $3,000, you can see the price point here. It's 192K. So I really paid 195K for it, but it's worth like 360. So, and actually I think the 75K, that's a high number. It's like more like 65, but I always like to go a little high and be conservative. And yeah, it's a nice house in a nice neighborhood, PG County. So hopefully some magic will happen there. It often does. And we got one more. God, what's the name of that one? 6624 Colorado. Who knows what the zip code is? Actually, I think that's the zip code. I could, man. If I remember that, I'd be impressed with my own self. Not when I pushed out to settle around like 7.5. And no lock. Well, I got a key somewhere. What do I do with that? That one came from a probate. Virginia came from PPC. So yeah, that's all I do. And yeah, the ones I've owned, I mean, I have one that Danville's a mistake. That's like I didn't actually do the renovation. Matt did. That was actually my mistake. I should have taken over once we got a couple. Like once we got way over a date, I should have just taken it and taken over. But you're trying to, again, remember we talked about the empowerment thing. I'm trying to empower him, let him learn, do some stuff. But fortunately, I'm kind of empowered my money into a hole. So that one, not an empowerment is not always perfect. Sometimes you run into a little bit of a wall. And Berlin's all good. I didn't actually plan on selling that. That was just supposed to be a rental. But yeah, the fire gods came in and hooked me up. So this one, we already got an offer. You see, we paid 102, 45K in work, and we already have an offer for 220 sitting in hand. We're not even on the market. Somebody's trying to buy a pre-market. and we might just sell it. It's a pretty good number. But also, what's really cool about this deal is you can see I bought it from 102. I put 45 in. I got a $108,000 check from the insurance company. So I don't even know the numbers, but this deal is going to be really juicy, like super juicy. So they gave me 108 grand, and I mean, I thought the whole house was burnt up, and I went there, it just like burnt the kitchen up. I was like, I was replacing the kitchen anyhow. That ain't a big deal. Didn't even like it just had smoke everywhere. Just really, it was a lot of cleaning up more than anything. Yeah, it was a pretty generous check. So if anybody wants to light some fires, or you're thinking about burning your house down, that's probably a solid idea. You're going to get good money back for it. Just don't get caught. Now, I never had a fire until that was my first fire in 10 years. Over 1,100 houses, my first fire ever. And it wasn't my fault. Tenant's daughter was cooking like 1 a.m. and she set fire to the kitchen. So it's all good. So yeah, this is how I organize. I think this is super basic, but it's how we do it. You see, here's all of our other properties we've done this year, basically this year and last year. You see, we're like well over like basically like 100 or whatever, but they're all renovations and stuff. So now that's how I do that. This is how I'm doing this. I might take and mix the two somehow. I'm not sure yet. But here's what I look at. Me and Tanya talked about this recently. She's like, I'm going to get G Suite. And I'm going to, she likes Asana and she's going to make some magic happen and do all this stuff. And I tried to explain to her that what she would be better served to do is take what we're currently doing and see if there's any improvements to what we're currently doing. Because like when I changed the whole thing around, people resist it because it's like a lot of work for them to resist what they're used to. It took them a lot of time to get used to using that freaking Google Doc. But that Google Doc's all I need, honestly. So, that's how I know. I'm just looking at an overview. Steve, I don't know. He probably just uses a notebook and paper if I had to guess. Because I've had 5 different project management softwares, and I've had multiple people build out those project management softwares. Steve has never used any of them. I mean, he's used them all for like a week here, a month there, maybe even a couple months. What it always comes back to, he always reverts back to how he enjoys doing it. And what I've learned over the years is that, why am I fighting him on it? It's like, for real, Steve is awesome as long as I keep him just balanced on how many properties he's doing at once. As long as he has the right amount of properties, I'm going to nail it. And he'll get them done super quick. I mean, he'll knock out like a 50K renovation in like 6 weeks, as long as I don't give him 10 of them at a time, all at the same time, by the way. Like I just bought 7 properties recently. You can see all those properties that are not in red are all ones I just bought recently. And of those 7 properties, I can't settle those all at once. And if I do settle them, I got to have to inventory, because if I gave Steve 7 properties to start at one time, it's too much work. Right? He has to be working on 5 to 6, 7 tops. But it wouldn't be, if I am going to have him doing 7, I wouldn't give him 7 at one time. That's the key. So yeah, I mean, that's the rehab part of it. And I mean, obviously that's going to probably be helpful to anyone that's, doing some rehabs or working on that. What about, so also, any questions on just the productivity stuff? Is that helpful for everyone, or something you think you could use, or some version of it? Obviously, it doesn't have to be Trello. I mean, I personally use that just because it was free and that's the price I'm into. It seems to work. I don't even know if you can upgrade it. I guess you can, but usually they just give you a crappy product and then tell you can update it. But this one works fine to me. So if you guys have any questions about that, I want to jump in. Brian, I want to jump into your property if that's okay, and take a look at the one you're thinking about rehabbing, because I know you have some ownership, or you're under contract, or you own it. I think you own it, right?
Nah, I'm going to close in the next like 7 to 10 days. So it's under contract now.
Cool. So let's take a look at it. Let's see what it looks like. House. All right. What email did you send it to me from? You sent me some
I might have
videos.
just
You said,
texted it to
right?
you. I think I texted it to you.
I bet you did.
Links.
Hey, let me
YouTube
see.
links.
Yeah, I'll email them to myself if you did. I'm sure you probably, that's because I remember looking at them, but I couldn't remember how I looked at them.
See if I can find it. I'll throw them in chat. So it was crappy videos anyway. Let's see.
It's always funny. I spelled I
went over.
spell Brian.
Go ahead.
I always spell Brian Brain or Brian. So I'm like, because I'm dyslexic, so I put the A in front of the I.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. I was like, hold on. I know I got his number. Sorry. So you got the email. This is that. Okay. So here we go. I got it.
Oh, you got it.
And I think you have more than one, right? No, it's just one. Okay.
Yeah, I have another potential one,
Cool.
but I'll probably just wholesale that one, just throw it on the MLS. So it just needs some cleanup. And
Okay.
I'm getting a good deal on it. So I'm making a shift
I mean,
to hotels and just maybe doing like rental ready upgrades and then continue to lease purchase stuff until I find a home run, like no question, gotta rehab it type deal.
I mean, honestly, most people don't consider a hotel a rehab, but it really is a rehab. I mean, you're buying it, you're taking ownership, you're fixing it up. Anytime you do that, man, that's just, I mean, if you can get away with doing it, you should never do anything more in a rehab than you need to. So that's just a really easy rehab is all that is. You know, I know they try to put a cool name, call it hotel, but you're fixing it up. You just aren't fixing, you're not gutting it. You're being smart and fixing up exactly what you need, nothing more.
Yeah.
Which is what we do on rehabs. I mean, you'll see a lot of them are like just beautiful, but there's ones I've done. There's plenty of them I've done where I've went in and put like 15K into like a 1,500 square foot single family home, which is really paint, carpet, and maybe put some new appliances in or something, but nothing more. Just make the place livable because there is a market for that. Now, whenever I'm doing that, I always run one against the other. And for whatever reason in Baltimore, when I'll run a wholesale, or a light rehab versus a full rehab, I tend to just like be able to bring in like a premium number when I pull that full rehab. And often I can get like an extra 10K. And I'm like, the work don't mean much to me. So I'm just like, I'll just do the extra work.
Yeah. I actually text you the YouTube link to the videos if you could look in your phone. I don't know if that.
I just sent it from my phone. That's why I'm waiting on it for apparently. Let me see what's going on. I'm waiting on my own email. It's kind of slow. Let's see. There it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind because I'm getting it for like 57, and it the as is value right now is probably like 102. If I fix it up, I'll probably get like 140. But I did a rough breakdown with Robert about what he would do to it, and he said, I mean, I kind of thought that too when I sent it to you, like the numbers would be tight because he guesstimated probably like 40,000. And if I'm in it for like 90, like anything past like 91, it's kind of rough at like 140. Listen it with an agent after commissions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like 25K.
Yeah.
Now, but you know what? If it's 35, it works. And Brian doesn't do a lot of like light rehabs. Most of his are like pretty like full. So there's a science to not over rehabbing this. And when I looked at the comps, most of them were not over rehab. They were pretty just like reasonably just cleaned up, livable.
Hey Jihad, I looked into like my MLS, just the stuff that's listed like Realtor in PA. For some reason, these people put like properties that are not rehabbed, and they got them at full market value. Like you if you just do a search in my area, like Northampton County or Lehigh County, like it's crazy that, and they're getting it too. Like they're getting like regular stuff.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So you just clean it up, man. You might be able to just clean it up and get everything working and just paint it, put carpet in it, and just nothing more, man. Instead of maybe like thinking like I'm just going to clean it and sell it the way it is, maybe just do like the most basic cleanups. Fix anything that's broken, carpet, paint, and just make everything look nice. I've done a lot of those. I used to call them lipstick listings because I would just like put lipstick on them and then just put it on the market. And it was like, I guess that
the
was
most
my
trouble
generic
parts
name
about
for a
about the home, you're going to see it in the video, is the actual flooring that probably just need to get refinished. Or if I just put something on top of it, I could carpet upstairs. And then some of the trim, like the baseboards and stuff like that, are missing. Like, I don't know, his previous
just
tenant
fix it. Yeah.
just stole all the baseboard from the joint. So, and then
really? Just took it with him.
the kitchen, and then he got a
that's only 15 seconds. Oh, you got other videos here. Cool.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 other videos. Yeah. So that is actually.
I mean, like that's
the
just
attic.
just paint it and
turned
carpet
into
it.
a bedroom. Yeah.
To the kitchen.
So you could start with probably 6. I think it's probably in a reverse order. So if you start from 6 and work your way up.
I mean, yeah. Sorry, it's 6. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, all that can stay. Those cabinets, you can paint those, clean them up, call that a day. Because I mean, they're not like brand new, but honestly, most of the comps, that's what they look like.
Mm-hmm. Like nothing. None of those comps.
Whose car is that right there? Is
That's
that
mine.
your Range Rover?
Yeah, that's mine.
All right, that's like a neighborhood up there, man. You're riding a neighborhood around.
That's one rental, man. One of my properties paid for that thing. Man. I didn't buy it.
I know. All right, see the bathroom. So same thing in the bathroom. I mean, honestly, I think you could paint this thing, get it cleaned up. You don't have to gut this out. You just clean up the tile, make it look nice. You put carpet all on the first, second floor, third floor, and just put, like a cheaper laminate or something on the first floor, and you're all good. But you can just carpet all second and third floor, paint everything, fix that hole right there. That's no big deal. I think we already seen that one. Okay, because we're going backwards now.
Yeah.
Are we going backwards? You can't even tell which way we're going. It's okay, though. We're all good. Like that tile, I mean, I would totally keep that tile there,
The second bath, like he did some of the roughing, like plumbing and electric.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's through the kitchen.
Yeah, finish it up.
Yeah, finish it out.
Yeah.
And
finish it. And that puts you a second bath, which is what we seen the comp. So it definitely was like 140.
Yeah.
I mean, cut the grass.
Mm-hmm. And they got a carport back there, like behind that stone, and side yard. It's not a huge yard. We don't get like huge yards in this area, but
Save the windows.
yeah. It's just no they got AC unit, so probably I don't know. Should I put a HVAC system in it?
Yeah.
Spend
You do have to do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would have to do that because most people had it in their comps.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would probably be one of your bigger expenses. But other than that, you're going to try to save everything you can. A little bit of trim, a little bit of fix the doors up, keep the kitchens, baths, finish that one bath out. Throw AC because you're going to need it, AC and heat. Because that's a big thing that people won't buy it for full price if it has like old or whacked out AC. Don't seem like they care much about the aesthetics, but they definitely care a lot about like mechanicals. They're always going to care about that, like no structural issues, no plumbing, electric, HVAC issues, or roof issues. You got all those things right, you're good, because that's like the main foundation of it. Now, everything else, if you just paint, carpet it, make it look clean, throw some laminate in here, keep this tile, get ready to go paint the gray or whatever, you're all good. You got like pink walls, just make them gray. Doors and trim off, so they are going to stay. That looks sweet. I mean, I'm thinking if you are saving most of this stuff and you're not really changing layout or anything, you probably got to lay something on top of those floors. I don't think you can really.
Yeah, he said
those.
lay something on top of it, like an engineered hardwood or something.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
And carpet from the stairs up the second floor, right?
Yep, carpet everything up. Yep, carpet all that. I mean, the rooms are really just paint and carpet and maybe some trim.
Yeah, the trim.
But the trim's cheap.
Yeah.
You need one door, I mean, that's all cheap stuff. You get a general, why I like this house is if you get like a general handyman guy for like $100 to $150 a day, probably like one dude could be in here just knocking this out for you, like one or two dudes that like in general are just like people. You wouldn't have to have like a GC, someone's going to come in 18 people and charge you a bunch of money, probably drives a car like yours. You need some dude in a truck.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock my dad in there and slip the food under the door, man. He's not allowed to leave until he's finished.
Okay.
And then I think just the power wash in the front, maybe paint it, but I don't even know if I need to do that. But like again, like the baseboard and the trim on the windows is the most like. Once I put the carpet on and the baseboard, it should be good. The roof is good.
And that stuff's not expensive. I feel like I've seen a duck though. Just so you know, I feel like I've seen a duck in there. It could just be that
this room right here is weird.
Heat.
So like that's like a closet. So I don't know if I need to knock that wall out to make that the master. Well, I can't make it a master. I want to add another bathroom, but maybe just make it a walk-in closet for that back bedroom.
Yeah, you could do that. You could just open the door, change. I mean, honestly, I would just leave it like it is.
Yeah.
I don't think at this price point people are going to get. I mean, think about it if you really think you need to do it, but you might not need to. Because overall, man, like this house is like, you just need the 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and then a second bath.
Yeah, that bathroom is good. Reglaze the tub, right? And then maybe, I don't know, switch out
Reglaze the tub,
yeah.
throw some tile around there or something. You know, that they need some subway or something that goes nice with this white tile on the floor. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't cost you but a couple $100 to do tile around that shower. You
Yeah.
know, some subway, you know, pay a guy. You can pay a guy that knows how to do a lot of things, like a handy person. They take them like 2 days to do the tile around there and grout it. So, you know, like $300-400, maybe a couple hundred, you know, $600 or something. You'd have tile around there.
Yeah.
And then you go on, you know, it looks more professional and it looks like you actually cared. You could use that to make that bathroom look better. And yeah, you paint the tub with like a glaze kit from Home Depot.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you really need. And that's going to cost like,
Yeah.
I don't know, $100 in labor and, you know, for $50 in paint. So it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I can't really tell with the vanity. You might just go and throw a nicer vanity in, just, you know, again, making the bathroom look more updated. Maybe put a little bit nicer vanity in. I would definitely keep the toilet and all that. And the mirror actually looked pretty nice. Tile, again, I mean, it's pretty plain, but, you know, it's not going to, by the time you put the house together, you go ahead and stage it. Like, you'll put a rug on that. No one's going to care. House is going to look superior to mostly everybody else. So I think I'm looking at this and I see, you know, how about this? Instead of saying what I see, why don't we run a budget? Because, you know, I'm thinking in my head like 35. I'm thinking 35, but let's run the numbers and see what we're going to be doing. Because sometimes I think 35 and next thing you know, it's like, yeah, it added up real quick on us. Oh, wrong one. And that way I can send you the budget. You'll have it.
I don't know. Maybe I need to maybe I need to retrade this guy. So look, man, I did my numbers and I'm at like 52. What do you want to do?
You mean like renegotiate them?
Yeah, I'm at 57. He's eager. He just called my attorney today. Like, can Brian give me a date, like when I can close this thing? So I know he's like anxious. I hate to do it to him, but if we run these numbers and I'm looking at 35, 30, and I'm like, I need to be under. I think conservatively, I need to be under 90. So I don't want to go any more than 30,000 in the rehab, and then if I could list that like 130, 135, and I can make it a $25,000-$30,000 flip, I'll be okay with it. I got two creative deals too. One I'm buying for like his ARV is 100, actually like 110, and this one closes out next week where I'm giving him 25,000 down and he's holding the other 25,000. So I get to get in there and do some minor stuff, and I'll probably get it sold before he give me 1 year. No, I'm actually getting 13 months to give him the other 25,000. So no payments, no nothing. $25,000 down, and the other 25 next calendar year. So I'm helping him with his tax situation.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, it's a nice little house. 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
You don't need permits for what you're doing. You're gonna need a plumber, so you're probably gonna pay him $1,000. So he's about $2 probably. Same thing with electric. I mean, there ain't really much to do with electric, but you might just need to get some lights put in, stuff like that. So it's like $2,300 basically. There's no insulation. There's no roofing. No roof gutter. You know if the roof is in good shape or not? You got any idea about
the roof
that?
is good. He replaced it like 4 years ago.
Okay, cool. And we're going to keep, what kind of countertops?
The HVAC was a big thing.
Oh,
if I need to run the ductwork.
I don't know if you need duct or not, but you might need it to look and see. That's ductwork and everything. It shouldn't be more than that.
To make that 4th bedroom, I know I need to do it because I'm going to have to get it at some level because the 4th bedroom where he did the roughing at wasn't a legal 4th bedroom until I run it, and he didn't have the ductwork up there. So I got to have the system. So I'm gonna have to do it at some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that might just mean you need to run an extra duct or something, but I'm pretty sure you probably need a new HVAC system. But if you only need a system and like one duct or two ducts ran to the third floor, you're talking about 3,500 versus like 6,500. You know, it's a lot cheaper. If you got to run ducts to the whole house, it's like 6,500. So now in the kitchen, what kind of countertop? Can you save the countertop in the kitchen, or do you need a new one?
No, I'll save that.
It looked nice. I couldn't tell. And probably 21. You know, like not even that. You just get cheap carpet, but 2K on the carpet. That's really it. I mean,
what's your experience with the carpet
good.
guys? Is it good to use one of those national companies or like a local guy supply carpet has been?
Whoever's cheapest, but there's your number. I told you 30, 35, and that's a $3,500 contingency. So if you put 5K in for contingency, you're like 33, man, and that's a big contingency, 5K. It's a lot on a little house like that. So I mean, if we run it at 33, and I remember the number we came up was 135. Is that what we came up with?
Yeah.
All right, let's make sure that's all good. 135. I remember it being something like right around 135, 33K. And you say you're buying it for 57.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit tight. You make 23, but it's not like a hard 23. Yeah, obviously, if you could get it down, and to be upfront with you, I think I'm giving you prices if you just hire people. Like if you can get some like laborers in there to do this work cheaper, you can cut that cost down big time. I mean, you could bring that in at 25 all day. Now it's just a matter of like what you feel comfortable with. Like you want to be managing people or growing people. Sometimes people just would be like, here's the money. Let me know when you're done, kind of thing. If you want to be building a team of people and kind of like build up some real cheap labor, like guys that are just getting there and knock work out for you. They exist, by the way, and they're perfect for a house like that. They're not going to, those guys are probably good to have a team like that anyhow, because they'll help you do your wholesales. They can trash out your rentals, anything you do. They're always good to have a team of guys that can just knock out stuff for you, like general handy people. You don't need like a full construction crew for that.
Yeah, I need to start building a team now because, like, the focus moving forward based upon our previous conversations, right? So if I'm gonna be able to do between like 10 and 12 of these a year, I need to start recruiting.
The deal works 100%, and honestly, like I said, I'm putting it at 30K because that still leaves a $3,500 contingency, which is plenty. And if you could go back to them and give them 50, you'd have a home run. I mean, you would know that's a home run deal. It'd definitely be a great deal to start with. In general, I mean, the only reason you're not spending, like Robert's right, it's like a 40 to a 45 if you rehab it like we would normally rehab it. Like I wouldn't save the cabinets. I wouldn't save a lot of things in this house. But when I looked at the comps, a lot of people had. So
it's nothing. It's nothing to the level. It's nothing to the level how you guys do houses. Nothing. Not even like remotely close.
Yeah, not even like my rentals are nicer than these. I know, like the rentals I do are nicer, but that's based on competition, right? That's based on what we have to do. Now, what we want to do is what you're getting ready to do. What you're getting ready to do is the best way to renovate a house. And you're right. If the house is in good enough shape, you can wholesale it. But the main thing I think is going to stop you from wholesaling it is, well, I don't know. If you're trying to sell it real cheap, it might work out. So I mean, you could always just take and clean it out and try. So and just see what happens.
So look, if I say, look,
make more sense if you could do that.
If I was to allocate like 10,000 to it, right? I think I can be able to put that on MLS and get like 90, and I think I'll be at around the same numbers. If I put 10 into it, like I just got to figure out where the 10,000 is best used, and I could put it on MLS at 90, right? So I'm in it for 67. If I put it on 95, I need to probably list it like 95, 96.
No, there's your profit. That's at 100. You're only going to make 14K. That's 10K, 100K. You're not making as much as you think. You actually, you're really, the way you got to look at it is this. If you can get 135 for putting 20 more in, you're getting an extra 15K. This is normally how it works out anytime I do this, right? So you're putting in an extra 20, but you're getting an extra 35,000. So that's a really good return. So, oh shit, put that wrong a second. Purchase price is 57. So I always run the numbers like this. Whenever I run these against each other, you always make more money to do the work. And if you're not worried about doing the 30 versus the 10, you would make an extra 15K on it because you're getting way back. And you can see that 15K takes you from 14 to like 26 or whatever. I put all the right numbers in? Yeah. Okay, cool. And this is 5 months, by the way. So you might obviously, you could get in there and knock this out and get it done in a lot less than 5 months. But I just put 5 months in because you never know with like, you might have an FHA buyer, you got to wait on them, things like that. So it shouldn't be longer than 5 months. You should be able to easily get the renovation done in like a month or two.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, I wouldn't mind keeping this as a rental because I could get like 1,400 for it. Like doing some basic stuff. So I wouldn't mind refinancing and just pulling the capital back out and just keep it as a rental.
So my big thing is, I feel like if you were to put 10 grand in it, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at comps and see if anything's selling without AC. Like I've never sold. I've only sold like 3 houses in my life without AC. Even when I'm in like the dead hood, where I'm selling like renovated homes for like 85, 90K, I even usually have AC there. But I did sell one house without AC, and I mean like an $85,000 ARV neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that was like max sale. It was like 85 or 90. And I was afraid, but I've never, when I get over 100, or 100 plus, I'm usually trying to have some AC in there. So I just think with the things you got going on with the house, I do believe you can clean it up. And I think 10K, you could, I don't know, you start putting carpet, you start trying to fix things, and, you're just going to probably end up being like more like 15 anyhow. You know how it works. You'd think you're only going to put 10, it's going to turn into like 15. And then you might just go ahead and do it. You might just go ahead and put like another 10 in it and just get it right.
Yeah. What do you think about in terms of numbers for that half a bath in the back and the laundry room back there?
Are you going to make it a full bath, half bath? It wouldn't be much though. I mean, that was in there. I had that in your plumbing and everything.
What was that, 7,500 or something like that?
No, it's not, I don't run it like that. I run everything line item, like you've seen. Yeah. I won't usually go like 10,000 for the kitchen, 5,000 for the bath. What I find more accurate. Line item.
Yeah, what was it like? No, I know how you do it, but I just want to know what the final cost was
for everything.
Yeah,
budget 30,000 to do everything.
No, for the bathroom.
Yeah, it don't work that way. I don't do just the bathroom because when I hire a plumber, I'm not going to hire him just for one bathroom, right? I'm going to hire him to do bathroom first floor, bathroom second floor, kitchen. He's going to do all that, right? So when I'm looking, how much am I going to pay the plumber to do the job of the whole house? So I don't ever just break it down like bathroom cost this. I actually look what plumber is going to cost. This is a good thing, good shift to make, right? A lot of gurus teach you like, well, just put 5K for the bathroom, but it becomes easy for the contractors to work you when you do it that way. If you do it the way I'm doing it, then you're going to hire everybody out individually and you're going to say plumber costs this. Because think about in each bathroom, you need a plumber, you need somebody to paint in that bathroom, you're going to need an electrician to put lights in it, you might need a tile guy to do some tile. So you're really hiring multiple people to do that bathroom. So unless you're hiring, if you hire a GC, you could do it that way where you're just like 4 or 5K for the bathroom. And then, but ultimately in that half bath, if you were to make it full or keep it half, you make it half, it's not much. You're talking about a couple grand. I think Sabina did one of her rentals recently for like 3,800 for a full bathroom, 4,000 for a full bathroom. It don't take much to do a bathroom. I think she told me it was $1,200, $1,300 in material and like $2,000 in labor, $2,500 in labor. So that was her. I mean, I've never thought of it like a bathroom, but she just did a bathroom. So that's the only reason I know this to tell you, because she just did the bathroom only. So I was like, how much did it cost you? That was the only reason I know how to answer what you're saying, because I don't usually do it that way. I line item it out, but she spent like 4K for a bathroom. And if you break it down, here's how I would think of it if I was logically trying to break it down. So in a bathroom, like, you don't need it. There's not much electric in there because you might need to run a wire or two for a light and all that. So you might pay like, let's say $300 to an electrician, maybe 500 even. I don't know. That would be high. But let's say $500 for the electrician. The plumber usually is going to get like 300 to put the tub and the sinks in. So that's like 800. And then if you go buy the tile for like the floor and the wall, if you're buying stuff that's $1 a square foot, you're going to need about 80, about 120. You're talking like $200 of material. So that puts you at 1,000. And then you're going to need a little bit of sheetrock back there, just like 10 sheets. It's like another 200 plus a couple hundred to install it. So that puts you at 1,400. Then you need about a couple $100, say 400 for the trim and all that and the door. So now you're at like 1,800. And then you're going to need a tub and toilets and all that. It's another 300-400, and the vanities, a couple hundred, light and everything. So yeah, it puts you about $3,000, 3,500 for like a little bathroom like that. It's like, I think she was 3,800. It's not very expensive. And somebody like 2 dudes can do a whole bathroom like that in a couple days. Say you just basic dudes that, don't take much. When you think of it like that, it's why it's not like 7K. It's like more like 4. for a bathroom. Now, if you go high-end tile, you put a jacuzzi in there, you know, that starts to turn us some different money. But yeah, we don't need that there. They're going to be real happy that you got a new bathroom, honestly, and the one that's in the laundry room.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the laundry room is just a little bit of sheetrock and trim and some paint, you know, a little flooring. It's done. There ain't a whole lot to that, so maybe another $2,000 for that. So maybe like $6,000 for that whole thing. But I mean, it was in your budget though, so I was counting for all that when I was putting like $2,000 for your plumber. That was so the plumber could do that bathroom, do your other bathroom, do your sink, you know, anything you need, like any appliances you need hooked up. Electrician was going to go through the house and do their bathrooms, your kitchen, any lights you need, any plugs that ain't working, stuff like that. So I was thinking, like, when you hire that individual person, you need to know what to pay him.
All right. All right.
That's how you keep them down. So I mean, I think you got a deal there. I mean, it's like, you know, I wouldn't be upset to make $26,000 on something that easy.
Yeah, and it'll be like the
investment.
first one under your system. So I think I want to knock that one out just to do it. And I was gonna buy it anyhow, so it's not like I was wrestling with the idea of not allocating the capital to it. Like in my mind, I was gonna close on it and use it as a rental anyway, just to do some cosmetic stuff. So it's fine if I just just upgrade the stuff that we talked about just now. So.
Oh, cool. Let me send you this. Give me the address for your house. I'll save this. What's the address?
816 Spring Garden Street. Yep.
Hey, so what do you have in those tile and kitchen cabinets and all those other tabs?
What were you saying?
It's okay. Hit send there and then go back to that document again.
Mm-hmm.
What do you put in the other tab?
Oh.
Like tile and kitchen bath cabinets. What's in there?
At the bottom.
Tile's got $2,000 in there.
No, not the numbers.
The tabs at the bottom.
The other.
Oh. Dude, that's old as shit. No, don't worry about that. That's like old. I don't use that anymore. I don't know what the hell that is. Good question, but I don't really know. Oh, that's like that's weird. That's some shit I got into that like don't make no sense. But yeah, there's the shoes and everything. But like legit, I'm gonna tell you, this is at least 6 years old, so probably none of this shit's accurate anymore. Yeah, good question. That's something so what I did is I just went and put like the SKUs and all that. But again, like I was telling you guys this weekend, I did all that work. You know how long it took me to take pictures and put all those fucking SKUs in there? Like 2 weeks. I gave it to my uncle and he's like, yeah, man, give me some 2x4s. He ain't looking at it. He's just like, they just know, right? And I'm like, fuck, man. Like I'm just forcing shit down his throat, like trying to make him like, thinking he'll be more organized. But the real reason why he was going over budget and over timeline back in the day when I was doing this was because I was giving him too many properties. Like I said, he had like 21 active rehabs going and nobody could keep up with that amount of houses. It was just too much. And I'm not saying at 15 he was good, but at 21 he wasn't. So it was like I never really established what his break point was. Now I know. So now I'm real strategic about like, okay, we're at the break point. What I wouldn't do in the past because my partner would freak out if we own a property. He's like, just to make him happy, somebody had to go put 2 people on it, make sure somebody was working there. He didn't care if they worked there for 6.5 months doing a 2-month job. He just wanted to know people were there. And it was not smart, obviously. And I didn't know any better because I thought that made sense back then too. But now I'm like, okay, I've seen some stuff and I've learned some stuff. And I'm like, that's actually a bad way to do business. And it doesn't really work very well. And it wasn't good for us either because it stressed us out because we always felt like we were failing. Now, Steve, like we don't start stuff, man. Like if something takes 4 months to get done, I don't start it for 2 months. What I was doing before is I would take 4 months to get done. And because we had put people in the house, we felt like we started it. But we were just like making my partner happy. And we weren't really starting it. We weren't like trying. So like really, then I'm looking at my uncle saying, dude, you took 4 months to do a $50K renovation. And I'm bitching him out. And do you think that's making him better or worse? Right? No, that's making him worse. And now he's like, now he's getting all depressed and like, all sad and shit because he's, I feel like I'm beating him up too much. because we're creating a system that he was guaranteed to fail in. Now, if it takes 4 months, the first thing I'm looking for is like, when did we actually start? So he actually took 2 months. If I find out I inventory for 2 months, and then he started 2 months later, well, that's 2 months. And then I look at 2 months, I'm like, oh, that's all good. Yeah, that's no biggie. 2 months works. We can make money doing that. So anyhow, we were accidentally. So what I would say I do differently today than back then is I intentionally inventory properties, but back then I was unintentionally inventorying properties. So if you're going to inventory something, it has to be intentional and well thought out. And it has to be part of the plan. It can't be because you're fucking up and you can't keep up with your schedule, because that's what I was doing in the past. We were just buying stuff and I was unintentionally just being forced into it with no real plan of why I was doing it. And it was stressing me the heck out, stressing everyone out, to be honest. So anyhow, yeah, I sent that to you. So you got that now. And yeah, don't worry about those other tabs. Not sure where they came from. So it must be like pulling some old stuff out on you, because this should be the new one. Let's see if I got the new one right here. No, that's the same one, man. How did these get pulled up? Where are these coming from? I must have pulled like some old stuff up. Where's the template at even? It's interesting. Did I get them all wrong? Dude, that's the same thing. Dude, I must have accidentally pulled an old one up and then just start using it as my template. I mean, it's all good. It don't matter. It just has that extra stuff. But my newer one, the template that you guys should all have, the template has a timeline next to it. Where the heck is that at? Oh, here, I'll just get it for you. So if you go here, you can see this is what it's supposed to look like. If you go into your resource center in your, in your thing, in your academy, go into the resource center and just pull up the renovation, line item renovation. Let's see where that would be. So I got a couple things for you in there. I got this example one. This is the new one. So you can see it's jazzier looking. So that helps because, it looks cool. And anytime you got something that looks cool, I feel like it's more fun to use because it looks a little nicer. But everything's a little more. And also what I've done in here is I've given you some instructions on how to add this stuff up and fill these in. Hey, sorry about that. That was really weird. My internet just like went weird, like reset or something. So you can put stuff on top of each other, like, demo, termite, waterproofing, all that stuff can be done almost at the same time. Kind of. It's not really like you just demo the basement first and then have somebody waterproofing while they're demoing 1 and 2, right? Top floors. You can be ordering windows at the same time, obviously. So you can do a lot of these things simultaneously. So when you're putting days to complete, you want to have a date on it. You can see a start date and then days to complete, because we might start a couple of these things the same day. That's why in start date and then days to complete, we'll automatically fill it in here. But, something to look at. I mean, and by the way, the most important part of this is the order you do the work in. I mean, when this is a full renovation, obviously, but this is the correct order to do the work in, because there's a lot of contractors who are going to try to get you to do this work out of order. And when you start doing work, they love doing the floors. Like, here's the thing they love to do. As soon as the sheetrock's on, they love to paint. All right. Now you paint a house as soon as the sheetrock's done. You can paint it then, but you're going to end up repainting it by the end of the job. So they love painting it then. They also love to throw floors down like right after they paint, and they ain't even done like half the trim and all the other stuff. Then the floors get destroyed, the walls get destroyed. So I generally don't paint till almost the whole end of the rehab. I just make them tape up the cabinets, tape up the tile, and they paint the end of the rehab, maybe like a week and a half where they're done, and then they never have to paint again. What was happening for me for many years, because my contractor was trying to run the show, he would just start painting, And then, and the next thing you know, then he was whining to me, oh man, they messed my walls up and I got to paint a second time. You need to pay me. And I'm thinking eventually, I let him do it like 100 times. And eventually I'm like, why does he keep painting so early? Why don't he just wait? And he's like, oh, I can't wait. And I was like, well, if he's not getting paid the next time, he does it early. And then we had a beef and he quit. And next guy comes in. I'm like, hey, dude, here's what we're going to paint. And the next guy, cool. That sounds fine with me. I'll just tape the stuff off. And I was like, never had a paint problem again. And the guy was like coming in just trying to get money, I guess. He'd come in when no trimmer doors. It's really easy to paint when there's no trimmer doors because you ain't got to cut nothing in. So you come in, it feels like the house is predominantly painted, but it really isn't even, like none of the hard work stuff. And they're trying to collect money. And then people just end up messing the whole walls up and everything. So it's just stuff like that. We understand. You see the paint's a little far down. Like paint's all the way down to 28. Obviously, a lot of things have been done, like tile, trim, doors, order granite, cabinet install. We do all those things because you can paint around those things. And now when you paint, they can finish the paint. They don't like to come back and finish a lot of times either. So you want them pretty much when they come in and get most of the money that they finish. So yeah, that's on the new budget and that's in your resources. You can get that anytime you want. Any other questions about anything we got going on? Well, cool. We got some stuff to run over with renovation. Obviously, if you guys need anything, Brian, we have Marco Polo too. So are you on Marco Polo with me?
Nah, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's like Voxer?
It's an app. Yeah, it's like Voxer, yeah, but kind of better because it's a video. So you can send anytime you want. I usually get right back to you. Sometimes even I'm like in bed.
Now.
So yeah, download it and then like send me a request or something. I think you just like send me a request, whatever it is. I don't know if it's actually called, but yeah, man, you can then just hit me up. And so if you got questions, especially once you start, if you're going to do this renovation, right, then we'll do a little bit of offline just to make sure that we're real clear on like how to like manage people and keep them. Those first little few jobs is going to be all about managing I said earlier, you want to manage the process, not people. So whenever you got bad people, it really means you got bad process. So you just follow your process. Any contractor doesn't want to fit in your process, then you don't hire them. Yeah. It's the simplest way because everyone comes to me, like even some of the higher level students are like, well, the contractor says they don't do it that way. I'm like, okay. Like you can't manage. If you let them do it their way, then you're going to be managing people. And I can just tell you right now, you try to manage people, you're going to go crazy because people do what the fuck they want. They don't listen to nobody.
Yeah. It's a way to hold them accountable, right? That system.
Your process, then that's so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because exactly, it's so simple. If they work out, if they follow the system, they things good, and you got a friend for life and someone who can work with you for a really long time. And if they go crazy in the system, then okay, there's not a fit for that. He's good at following rules and stuff. I know I probably wouldn't be, but we're not hiring me to do your work. We're hiring someone else who hopefully would like to make some consistent money with you.
Yeah.
So cool, man. All right, everybody. If you guys don't have any questions, we'll jump off then.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Mike.